Hi.
Hi.
I see you have doggies. I have doggies.
Hi,
Hi.
Duke. Oh, you got both of them.
Daisy's
Hi,
hiding back there.
Daisy. Hi,
Yes.
Daisy. Hi,
How are
Duke.
you doing?
Good. Hey, you got a fire going there?
Yes.
That's really nice. Great.
How are you doing?
Good. Good. All
Give,
good. Yeah.
give me 1 second. I'll be right back. So how is your week going? What is?
Fine. It was fine. I was back in the city Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Um,
How did the do you had last I heard you were meeting with a client in a restaurant. That was your first rest.
yeah. So that was yeah. I met this. She's an elderly lady, and um, we went to a restaurant off Madison Avenue, and most of the people were outside, but it was empty inside. So she had been vaccinated, and so had I. So we went inside, and they give you they say one person has to fill out like a contact their details for contacting,
Yes.
and yeah, and knife and fork is all wrapped up, and they unwrap that, and I mean it was fine. It was okay. I actually preferred being inside with few tables than being outside where there were a
Sure.
lot of people. But
Sure. Yes.
it was a
Did,
very beautiful day on Thursday, and so there were lots of people out uh, outside restaurants in the street. So it was kind of nice, but
right. Yes. I recently interviewed someone whose current job is a contact tracer, but obviously they're hoping that is not a permanent position. So they're, yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Do you mind if we do a little bit more? I'm recording. If we do a little bit more of a formal format, and we talk about a couple of subjects, like like when you've guested on the show before, or
Not
no?
at all. Not at all.
Yes, because Nick is normally my co-host for 10 years, has been my co-host for this show. But yeah, in any event, my dad filling in. You can see your book. Do you see your books up on the mantle that I'm?
Yes.
Yes, we are with our guest Michael Findlay, talking about lots of things. We can talk about personal stuff. We can turn off the recording talking about personal stuff. But right. So if this were just me, if it was us, just some guys hanging out. Okay, so it's Women's Month. So we should say something about that.
Well,
Uh,
yeah, I have to say, I would like to make a very strong comment because just before this, I was reading what has been happening in London. And because of this, there's a huge protests of women of all ages, all backgrounds, because of the murder by a policeman of this woman who
33 years old. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
he was doing exactly what the police had told her to do, which is to take a long route home, wear bright clothes, don't wear high heels, call your boyfriend and let you know he was coming. So she did all of that, okay? So she was murdered by a policeman brutally. And what the complaint of the women is, this doesn't work, that you tell us that we have to be responsible for staying home or doing things a particular way. Your responsibility as the police is to make sure that we're not attacked,
Yes.
period, end of story. So I thought that was very, very interesting kind of table turning. And they wanted to have a rally, a masked rally, and the police said, no, we will arrest you if you have a rally, right? So they say, okay, so you're taking us off you're pulling us off the streets, right? And you're telling us we cannot be in in our own clothes, in our own country, on our own streets, because you men are attacking us. But isn't it your responsibility to stop men from attacking us? And I
Yeah.
thought that was actually, I support that,
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think protests have happened. I think, unfortunately, people have been arrested. Women have been arrested now, and there's footage. Um, do, so here, I guess here, I over here the obvious violence has been against AAPI individuals, Asian American, Pacific Islanders.
Yeah.
And we've been mobilizing against that here. One of the tensions, as I've been organizing with people, is within the Asian American community between sort of supporting police, supporting like we need to crack down, we need more laws, we need more patrols, and a more progressive or a more like aligned with Black Lives Matter. It's interesting. I'm finding myself in a really delicate balance as I'm organizing with people. I've done some things this weekend that are great. I Yeah, no, I don't know. It's yeah, the whole. I mean, the with is that the narrative? What I guess what sources are you reading? Because the narrative I'm hearing is there's this issue with women and violence in England. I'm not hearing very much about police at all, though I know I looked into the details of the case. I know this, but I'm just curious. What are you hearing and what? Because I
I
don't think.
I just read one recent story today in the Times, which was basically reporting on the demonstration and what was said at a big demonstration.
Yeah.
And I had previously read some reporting, shocked reporting that it was a policeman who had been arrested and charged, and he had actually something of a history of bothering women. So I think this is a double problem from the point of view of the police. Although, we got the same situation with members of the
But
military being,
oh yeah.
being Proud Boys, etc.
Oh
So
no, and Oath Keepers is an organization of allegedly police and military who are white nationalists, who are proudly white nationalists and both. And yes, and the FBI just released a report that they're trying to infiltrate police, but I'm like that. What does white nationalists infiltrating police mean? Like, okay, further. But yeah, no, I'm curious because this case in England has received international attention. This will bring international attention to English laws. How will this person be charged? How will because we know in America, because of qualified, because of certain things, in Minneapolis, they're already preparing to board up buildings rather than preparing a cell for Derek Chauvin. That's all I have.
yeah, exactly. They're protecting the establishment.
One thing that was very hard here, and that's very hard and delicate here, is that, and it's interesting to hear activists talking about this, Asian activists talking about this, that police basically, well, I don't know. Okay, during protests over the summer, buildings in the Chinese International District got damaged, and I tend to side with obviously activists that tend to damage like Starbucks and things. Yeah, I personally disassociate property damage from violence, and I have justifications for that. Not that I personally ever engage in that, but when I see it happening, I understand why it happens.
Okay.
But when it got pushed into the Chinese International District, in particular to locally owned businesses, smaller businesses, this created a tension that I understand, and it's just I'm really excited to be involved in the activism right now. I'm really excited to hear communities, to see the coalitions building, to hear communities saying, yeah, there are these misunderstandings, or there's this.
So,
Well,
let me continue that thought with something that's very germane that well, I say I'm struggling with, but I'm kind of certainly a part of. There is downtown, there's the Museum of Chinese in America in New York, which is basically not a big fancy museum. It's a museum of originally of immigration. It's a museum that collected and maintained lots of ephemera about Chinese immigrants over the 200 years.
Okay, I took you to Wing Luke here in Seattle, and which is the Asian American experience of immigrant. Yeah, I right with the paper crane. Yes, I know the type of museum you're talking about. Very small, very underfunded. One of the people on the coalition I'm working with right now is from this museum. So I yes, go on.
So this is a situation. They applied to the foundation that I'm a president of for a grant for an exhibition of 33 artists who in the 90s were part of a consolidated group of street artists. They called themselves Godzilla, but this was a kind of a review of that era because they were, they weren't well known at the time. They were under the radar. And so, and they've all gone in different directions, but basically the show was to commemorate, that movement, which was Chinese art. So we thought that was an excellent idea.
Where I'm sorry, where did that take place?
In New York, in the city.
Okay, so, yeah, no, okay, yes, okay. I just meant, yeah.
Street art in the city.
Yeah.
So so we gave them the same amount we gave 5 other small museums around the country, which was $10,000. Okay, so fine. Which doesn't fund the whole show, but it's a modest show, so it's with some money. So what happened, several things happened in between, one of which was the pandemic, obviously. So because of the pandemic, they were forced to delay the show, which is fine. We don't care. They have to do that. But the museum is fairly close to a jail, and the city has a plan to tear down the jail and build another one. Okay. And when they are doing this in different parts of the city, there is a program to give compensation to people around it, to other businesses when they do that. So the Asian community, a lot of the Asian community in Chinatown is against having a new jail built, right?
Yes. No new jail. No new jail. Sorry.
No jail for non-white people. No jail in our neighborhood.
No jail in our neighborhood. No jail in our neighborhood is a different kind of NIMBYism than.
Well, I understand. But the museum claims that they have always been against the jail, that they had actually exhibitions about protests against the jail. It's very much a local institution. However, they will get $35 million. Now, I mean, it's not that they've asked for it, they will get it because of this happening, right? Even if they're against it happening, they will get the $35 million. So of the 33 artists in this exhibition, 19 of them wrote a letter saying they're withdrawing from the exhibition, okay?
Yeah.
And the museum said, well, we're sorry about that, and we think you've misunderstood our position. But of course, without you, we have to cancel the exhibition, right? Mm-hmm. Now, what was interesting to me about the artist's letter, which wasn't reported as widely as the headlines, is that they claimed that a co-chairperson on the museum's board was a local developer and had a vested interest in some of these activities. Not only that, but they referenced this huge I almost call it public restaurant called Jing Fong, which is a big dumpling restaurant, which where our adoption agency had fundraisers every year for a while, and it's packed every weekend.
Yep.
It's packed with Chinatown citizens, not just tourists, and that has been closed. That actually is something that shocked everybody.
Yeah. No,
They're claiming somehow all of those people being put out of work is somehow linked, perhaps, to the land speculation. And, I don't know how conspiratorial that is in fact, but I mean, obviously the museum is going to come back to us probably pretty soon and say either we'll return your money or we're going to do something else with it. I'm not so concerned about that, but it's a complicated issue, because with $35 million, they can build a performing arts center, which they don't have.
I'm sorry. I feel like I listened to all that. And where is the community on all? The community is against the restaurant.
I think the community is divided because
Okay. And well, I mean, then I think you and I need to stop talking about it. Like I get the developer is Asian. The developer.
Everybody's Asian.
Yeah. Well, no. I mean, not that you and I need to stop talking about it. I mean, but I think. No, that's very complex, and I get all of that. But
many things have these complexities in a way. I mean,
But no, I mean, for me, given all of this, and then again, I view things through a critical race theory perspective, which the National Review, which is a publication that I call the White National Review, but I basically said critical race theory is like evil, and like it's. And I'm like, oh wow, just say the loud, quiet part out loud. Like I don't know. But I would say historically, let them build. However, you can build the Performing Arts Center. However, you can secure that $35 million for the community. No. I'm trying again. You told me a lot, and I'm trying to process a lot.
From a practical point of view, it's going to happen. In other words, they can't stop. They won't stop the jail.
Right.
So you say, okay, I'll take the money. So now have I won or have I lost? I don't know. I don't know what.
Welcome to the nonprofit world. This is what I do. We take the federal funds and write a grant where we don't know the outcome of the election yet, so we cannot say racism ever in the entire grant. So we have to say, please refer to our mission. Please refer to our mission. Please refer to our mission. Probably like 300 times, and hope, depending on who gets elected, they don't catch that, or they do understand that, and they're like, yes, we refer to your mission, and here's the money. Like, I mean,
you have to be that careful. You have to.
Also, anytime I ever refer to my job, as Nick knows, I have to say I am speaking only for myself, and I do not represent any organization or any. I do work for a nonprofit, which I never ever name, and I don't speak for them. I speak for my own opinions. But those are
when you're not speaking when you're speaking for yourself.
When I do a YouTube, or when I'm on any internet that's not as part of Child Care Resources. Also, this is something my job is just thinking about now, but my old job knew automatically. Like, my old job actually searched people's social media history before. This is a tangent, but before they even were hired. And my new job, they're just now figuring now, people are posting things, hashtagging our agency's name, but so in any event, but that's a whole nother wormhole. Okay, can we take a 1 minute break and come back and I love you, Dad. I miss you. I just want to say that, and
I love you too. Are you going to take a break now?
I'm just gonna go. I'm gonna go to the kitchen, and I'll come right back. If you need to do anything,
Okay.
So one thing me and Nick
I just
do.
have to send a
Oh,
message to get the
oh, do
dogs.
it. Yes. No, take your time. Did you say dogs?
Yeah, they get fed at 5, so I'm asking someone else to feed them.
Literally, I'm putting out. You can't see it because you're sending a message. Send your message. I wrote pet check-in. That was the next segment. That's the next.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. How are your pets doing?
They'll be fine if they they're very well, they because of the time change, they actually at 5 o'clock they know it's time, but it's 4 o'clock. I mean, it is 5 here,
Oh,
but because of the time change.
thank you for. I mean, I know the time change because
Oh,
I no longer because I used to be one of the biggest advocates for time change. Like, let's stop time change because I didn't have. Oh, go ahead.
go on, go on. I gotta let her out. Yeah, because you
No,
didn't have
no, and I still am. Let's end time change. It's a nonsense. But I used to be a much bigger advocate for it because I didn't have the devices that other people had that automatically updated. Now I'm realizing I'm on the same page as everyone else. It's barely an afterthought for me because it just does it automatically. My pets today, I'm like, oh, your behavior today was because you're on a different schedule because I just automatically adjusted, but you have not. So yes, thank you for that. Um,
I
Pets
still
are.
have a few clocks that I have to do by hand.
Oh yeah, no,
So
oh yeah, yeah. There's still that. The pets are doing okay. The pets miss Nick. I mean, they miss Nick, and they're Luna the cat, who's I will. Yeah, no, I mean they just yeah.
oh, hi. Hello. Oh,
Um, and then Duke, I'm realizing, has a much more sensitive stomach than I had understood. We had to get some. I'm waiting on a Chewy.com order, so we had to get some like grocery store brand dog food. But yeah, no,
so what happened to you? Fi-
he's
fi-
he's
Family?
hanging in there. He's actually sulking a little bit right now. Yes. Oh. No, he's fine. But I just realized other behaviors I'm now realizing are more attributable to his digestive issues than other. I'm just learning more about him. So it's actually, no, it's a net positive. But, we're still waiting on his good dog food that he likes that keeps him regular and comfortable. We'll just
Is
say
that
that.
from the grocery? You have to wait for the grocery store to get it in?
No, it's from Chewy.com.
Oh, Chewy. Oh, yeah, yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Okay, so no, we're back with Michael Findlay, and should we talk about NFCs and Christie's and can we can we go there or
We can go there. We can go there briefly. And I mean, I don't know whether my take on it is particularly unique or not,
yeah
but from what I can tell, for a number of years, I've been predicting that the new art of the 21st century would be um, there would be a lot of technological advance, there would be digital involvement, and there would be new delivery systems.
Mhm.
Okay, and this is very, very important because the thing that would be revolutionary about it would not only be, I think, or thought, not only its nature, in other words, the mediums that were used, but the way that it was sold, the way that the way it could make money for artists. So to me, forgetting what my opinion about the quality of the thing or the visuals of what was sold
Can
as,
we get there? We'll get to that in a moment. Go on.
no, whether that's good, bad, or whether that's good, bad, or indifferent,
Yep.
to me is irrelevant to the fact that this is like Gutenberg inventing the printing press
Yes.
and making one Bible and selling it for a huge amount of money.
Yes.
Because the whole point to me of this kind of art is that if it is going to be created and consumed digitally, one image is exactly the same as every other image. In other words, you have the potential to send your picture, if it is a picture, to 1 million people, right? They can own it, and they have exactly the same thing, right? So a delivery system that works on that scale would be some form of subscription, just as people subscribe to Netflix or anything else. And it might be 10 cents, it might be 5 cents, it might be $10, right? But you would not be saying, of these million images, only one is the real one, and I'm putting the non-fungible token into this real one to make it worth $68 million. So it seems to me it's incredibly reactionary. It's like publishing a book and selling 1 million copies and putting a token in one book and saying, but you have the real one, right? So it's an attempt by the old capitalist system to maintain a kind of an old-fashioned system of marketing and delivery on new technology.
I disagree, I agreed with you almost to the end. And I mean, you're the art dealer, and this is your era. This is your industry. Okay. Here, okay, no, and actually, I fundamentally, well, okay, it's the disagreement can start with the beginning or the end. Here's the disagreement from the beginning. Gutenberg printed a Bible. The first thing, no, I understand. I heard everything. It's not about what's printed, but the direction it takes off based on what you understand. So the Christie's thing was one thing. Do you know about the Azalea Banks porn tape?
No, I don't.
Okay,
know.
Richard Price apparently bought it for $17,000 and sold it for $260 million. Sorry to scoop you. Richard Price Richard Price, he photographs other people's prints. Oh, I'm sorry. It's your industry. This isn't my industry. I don't even give a shit.
There's a writer called Richard Price, I think. So, and they get them confused.
No, okay. Anyway, apparently bought a porno tape, a 24-minute porno tape. It will be displayed in a gallery. You're going to hear all about this. This is a real thing.
No, I know. We sell Richard Prince paintings. I hate them, but I'm sorry. You can. I mean, I don't like them.
So the second piece of art that will be immersed in the art world is a porno tape by a Black woman who is married to a Jewish man who she's a troll. She mostly spends her time. So the last thing she did was show her engagement ring, which is a menorah, and said, "I'm Jewish now." I'm sure fully knowing that that's not how it works, because she's marrying a Jewish man, but just soaking up all the people telling her, that's not how it works! Because she's a troll. She's a troll. She's like a major troll. She says things about slavery, like Kanye level things about like slavery she says things about Black people. She says things about Jewish people, even though she's married a Jewish man. She's a troll. She's like a Donald Trump level troll. And her art is now the second work of art. Yeah, no, but again, I agree with you. No, the last part, fast forwarding, it's all just about the medium. It's all the context of what the individual things are. But these are the individual things, and this is the world that they've already created. So when you're saying it's like the printing press, imagine if the printing press had already been created by a group of racist, sexist homophobes who had already been controlling it for 10 years, and then they shared it with not monks to print a Bible, but with racist, sexist, homophobe. So that's actually the difference. I'm sorry, and I'm sorry if this all sounds like I'm a crazy conspiracy theorist again, and this is where the show ends.
No, I think that the uses of, first of all, to be very honest with you, and I'm not a conspiracy theorist, I would be very, very, very surprised, apropos of this Beeple or whatever it was.
Yes.
We'd be very surprised if money changed hands.
The sale hasn't closed. I know the sale hasn't closed, nor on the second one.
Surprised if Christie's got anything out of it other than PR.
Yes, but that's the same thing for Azalea Banks. So far, she's now attached herself to 260 million for a sale that hasn't happened. Something sold hands for $17,000. You know, I could buy something for $17,000. That I could have made a Black Lives Matter thing happen for 17,000 NFT. Okay, again, I think that is the wave of the future, and I'm not arguing that. I'm not.
I would say also, I'll put a layer on top of this. I'm just throwing this out, okay? This has been both the direction of the culture, and because of COVID, it's been accelerated. Art, in the art world, very little public events have taken place. There have been few museum exhibitions, few galleries.
Yes.
So the media, however, is so hungry for headlines, not for serious content, not for critical content, not for discussion, but for sensational headlines, that the bar in the last year, and I'm talking about the art press, not the bar is so low that what entertainers, what celebrities are doing is now part of the art industry headlines, okay? If they even look at a painting or mention art, it becomes a headline. If things are stolen, if things are fake, if things are,
but this is
whatever it is.
Yeah, but this is like 30 years old. I'm done. I mean, not I'm done arguing or complaining. Like Jimmy Fallon's children's book made all actual children's books artists like livelihoods lessen. This has nothing to do with Dr. Seuss and cancel culture. Like the fact that Jimmy Fallon has 4 children's books on the New York Times bestseller has actually affected other people's incomes. Possibly, again, to make it all centered, because this is who I am, people of color, women of color, people who had jobs, but now it's Jimmy Fallon. And we met Jimmy Fallon in a bookstore. Nick still loves Jimmy Fallon because he met.
Hi, I'm Jimmy. He was he was probably going in there because he's curious. He didn't know what a book was.
No, okay, he was wearing a cast, which to this day, we never outed him from, but he had about 4 or 5 drunken incidents during that era, and we saw it, and to Nick knows this, we never outed him on the, oh my gosh, I need to stop. Well, I'm gonna have to edit this episode at some point.
You just did. You just did.
Oh my gosh.
I hope it wasn't hitting any kids, you know?
No, right. So Azalea Banks, rapper, but it's a sex tape that she sold with someone named Ryder Riggs, who I don't care about. Richard Prince may have bought it, but you will find out before I know about that. That's a rumor. Fountains of Wayne is a band I'm vaguely aware of. They released an NFC album, so she's not the first musician, if we're talking about like, but again, her art is going to end up in a gallery, as far as I know. That's the plan for that. But Fountains of Wayne released an album. This is gonna, it's just gonna be a medium that lots of things, blah 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 blah. Also, a guy who used to work for DC, and So here's an interesting one, and I know we're running out of time. Here's an interesting one. If he were at a Comic-Con selling sketches of Wonder Woman, that would be fine. But now that he made it an NFC, DC is like, we have our own plans for that. No. Where is the line with that?
Well,
And
yeah.
again, commercial art, and I know more commercial art. Music is more commercial art than fine art or art.
Well, I don't know what the definition is. I mean, I don't really care. I'm, about art, but
That's not
I,
your hand in the game.
somebody showed me an Instagram post from a woman who has, who is teaching a program called Looking Slowly, and she's using very much the kind of design of my book that you've got up there, right? And my publisher said, just, you have to be flattered, there's nothing you can do about it. I mean, it's like, you've influenced them, and
and that's, I mean, okay, but okay,
my attitude was, should I be angry or should I be flattered? I mean, I didn't quite know which anyway. I still don't really.
but that ties in with musicianship and who gets songwriter credit and which part of the song is the part that is worth the credit. And I mean, there are lawyers who spend their whole lives on this, so there's no point in you and I discussing or arguing this. But I mean, in songwriting, especially like when you do sampling or when you do like a reference or when you just say a line that kind of harkens back, like, yeah, no, again, that's legal. Yeah, if I had all the things again, would I go into legal? I don't know.
But what's ethical is different from what's legal.
And I think that, back to a conversation we were having the last time, that evolves throughout time, and different age groups, different perspectives that you come from have different ideas about, and I have strong feelings as an artist about intellectual property. Oh, okay. Two huge things. One, can I commission a work of art from you? I want you have a work of art in your yard out there. I would like a work, an outdoor work. It can be the same series. It can be completely different. It can be. I want a work of art from you. Can I ask that for that?
When you say from me, you mean
Michael Findlay. I want a Michael. You know what I'm talking about.
Would you have a buried cross in your yard?
Yes, yeah, but it doesn't have to be a buried cross. It can be whatever you want now. But
that's what I do. I do buried.
Oh, yeah. Do you have? Is there more than one? Are there others?
No, there's only one. But the point is that if you have to be careful, as I was not. If the people who helped you install it are Christian, they ask a lot of questions.
Okay, I got hired at a Catholic school by a nun who noticed the upside down crosses on my church, and I still got hired. So, and you still got that buried. So questions can be fine. Both of us can survive questions.
I said, when it's in the ground, it looks like a tick. Not a tick, a tick.
Yeah, a check mark. Yeah.
It's a check.
She said, she asked me, you have 3 of them. Did you know Jesus? And we talked about how Jesus was buried with 2 thieves and blah, blah, blah. She understood.
There's got to be 3. Yeah.
No, she understood. She understood. If you're going to have upside down crosses, there's got to be 3. And we got along after that. Yeah, no, exactly. The other ask, so Nick's goal, which I actually think is a really low, I don't want to say it for my own child, a really low barrier goal, is he wants his own Wikipedia page. He used to be on my mother's and yours, maybe not necessarily maybe on yours, but I know you have, I'm not saying manipulate Wikipedia, but if there are people on my mother's page, it used to say son who works in Montessori and grandson. Someone changed it to grandson at some point, and Nick, which was not me, but maybe it was. But in any event, all of it got erased because it can't be confirmed or whatever, and it doesn't reference.
I can't control my Wikipedia page because because
Anyone you know who's close enough
well,
is
the person who was doing it, my assistant Maeve, who tried to do it, they found out from her email address.
This is like, I mean, okay, I mean, we are trying to manipulate Wikipedia. This is like Donald Trump trying to get back on Twitter, but it's not. But these are
Uh,
how do
no,
you, how do you as a person get something that's accurate added
I
to
don't
your?
know because I have had, sadly, I've had quite a few friends who passed away in the last year, and I sometimes go to the Wikipedia page, and I find it's, there's a lot of stuff I know those people have
Yep,
done and
yep,
should be known for,
yep,
and that
yep,
is public that's not on
yep,
it.
yep.
So it's
Okay,
like I haven't bothered, but
okay, yes, and I mean, okay, I know, so
you
I
need
talked to you
to
brief.
have somebody get something published which has the information in it. I mean, it's dumb because we know that half of everything that's published is a lie anyway, but they will accept something if it has been published, right?
Yep, and it's. I
You
mean,
think
so
publish a family magazine with 3 copies of it that puts all this information in it? I don't know. So Nick wants to have a Wikipedia page.
well, no, it's not so much about well, yes, but it's just more about he wants the acknowledgement. Well, no, I don't know what he well, no, he does, and actually, what his goal is, he wants a Wikipedia page for himself, which I get, but also I'm saying I think that's a low barrier because a lot of notorious people have Wikipedia pages. Like, just because you have a Wikipedia page doesn't mean you've proved you've done something good. Like, I don't know. And anyway, that's a whole separate discussion. But I was just noticing because he's mentioned this to me more than once. He was once on Grandma Naomi's Wikipedia page. It used to mention, and it specifically, without, as far as I know, changing it from a granddaughter to a grandson. Someone acknowledged grandson Nick, and then after that he was erased at all, which is like not intentional, but probably
Maybe I'll ask Kilolo Luckett if she could do something.
is she still around? Are you still in communication?
Definitely. No,
Okay. Okay, I am now at the point where I want to start a Naomi Sims Foundation. I really want to like
You want to
if
talk to
she's
her? You want to talk?
to let her know I had a lot of years where I couldn't just deal
No,
with
she
it at
knows
all.
that, and she wasn't going to, but she does a lot of the art world. She's a curator. She's, but she is still very much.
Is she still in Pittsburgh?
Yeah. She worked for
Okay.
the Andy Warhol Museum.
Do they still do a Naomi Sims
Well, she was
brunch?
the one. She was the one
Yeah,
who did.
no. Okay, no. Let her know I'm ready now. Like I'm
I
ready
know.
to deal with not deal with this. I'm ready to like
She can do that.
advance
She can
this.
do
Like
that, right?
celebrate this.
Yeah,
Celebrate my mother and it's been
yeah.
um I in my mind because this was going to be her thesis, she moved on and I knew I guess she moved into the art world, but she moved on and this wasn't her interest
Well,
anymore or like
biography. She kind of stumbled when she couldn't get,
yeah,
I took
no, yeah, no.
a lot of
Um
a lot of
okay. Okay.
so,
It's okay. Yep.
all right, that's fine. Quick question,
Yep.
because I had an exchange with Nick about this. Do you still have Seattle Art Museum membership, or did that
Yes.
lapse?
Oh, I don't believe I received a card. Let me
No,
look.
because I didn't do one recently. So
Um, I mean, I would say if you, I would say this would be a matter of like looking into your on your end and auto paying it because
I'll look at it in my hand, but
yeah, because I don't think we did get it one this year. I'm
because there is a great Jacob Lawrence exhibition
oh
just
yes
opened, and
yes no I don't no I yes
it'll be on until May.
okay
So I will redo that membership. Okay, you probably
yes
get
no, yeah no I have my card right here but it's not yeah it doesn't say the date on it okay
should have an
but no
expiration. Yeah,
yes
so I
um
will do that. because whether separately or together, you should, I mean, it's a great show. And
Yes.
what's interesting is that the show started here at the Met, right?
Right
And
on.
there's a series that he did of small paintings.
Yes.
The time he did them, were not worth very much. And the
Right.
series was incomplete. But once the show went on at the Met, two completely separate people, ordinary people on the Upper West Side, found that they had these little paintings.
That's
One
amazing.
that they kept in their kitchen, didn't know what it was. One woman took it to the Met and she couldn't get anybody to pay attention for because she just walked in with it, right? So she didn't know. So those are now in the exhibition. So it's kind of
awesome.
And he's a great artist.
I mean, So I mean, the convention center had a huge Jacob Lawrence that Nick grew up riding the escalators, walking past every single day.
Yes, of course.
Seattle obviously Sam has had Jacob Lawrence exhibition. Yeah. I had not ever heard of him before I moved here, but his art is infused throughout this area. And yes, no, he's
years and years ago, when your mother was on the board of the Northside Center for Child Development with Mamie and Kenneth Clark.
Yes. Okay. Yes.
Okay. This is you were, I don't know, very, very young, I guess. Or even
the board of which?
It was called the Northside Center for Child Development. It was on 125th Street.
Okay.
And Kenneth and Mamie Clark, this was their business. I mean, it's a nonprofit, but it was their business.
Yeah. I've never. There is so much history I don't know. Wow. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
So we were both on the board. Okay. So as a fundraiser one year, I worked with Jacob Lawrence to produce a print. He made a print, which was from a series called The Workers, Construction.
Yes.
You have one or two copies of it. And he did an edition of 75, and he gave all of the proceeds to, I mean, all I did was basically get it published, get it printed, and get it.
Yeah.
But it was sold to Friends of Northside Center for, and I met him at the time and his wife, and they were just the best people, totally the best people.
Okay. So all you did was get it printed and published, but all you did was also advance. All you did was be an ally. I mean, and I'll just call it out. Thank you. I mean, be an ally to a community. Dix is high.
Hi, Daisy. Are you going? How is the relief bill going to affect your operation? Is it?
The federal. I have not. So 50 million were just approved for early learning, but still hundreds of million more went to K through 12, which is always the case, and that's fine, but it's frustrating. That was on the state level, and that was on bills that I fought for as well as many people on. I have not actually heard anything yet because I have not been connected with my advocacy team on how that's going to affect us. But hopefully,
you get something.
No, definitely. Okay, no, I know you're long past. Thank you so much.
No, that's fine. That's fine. I'm good. I don't know why I should. Oh, I know. I was wondering why I was tired in the middle of the afternoon, even though I got up an hour later. But it was still. I lost an hour's sleep. Did I lose it?
Yeah, right. No, because you think about you know it, you're prepared for it, and then it still takes you by surprise. I just texted you a picture. Did you see that picture?
Oh yes, yeah. I have that. Do
you?
You were doing cartwheels. No, you were doing cartwheels in your kilt.
Oh,
Cartwheels. Get it?
oh,
Your kilt.
no, oh no. I
You
also
were-
did.
This was, you know, who was the top of the hit parade at this time? Who you were emulating?
Madonna. No, no, no. This isn't. No, okay. I remember my Madonna routine. I remember when. That's not what this is about. Do you know who the small child in this picture is? His
No.
name is George Marshall. He is a cousin of a cousin. We will talk about him next time. He
By
found
the
me on.
way, your cousin Frank was 52 yesterday.
Oh,
Uh,
I'm
day
friends with
before
him on
yesterday,
Facebook. I
I
must have
think.
missed it. Did you? Okay, I missed it. Or maybe I'm not. I think he's blocked me now. Whatever. Um, yeah, no. But this guy, yeah, no. His name is George.
George, this is more your great aunt Maureen's grandson.
Okay, wait. Hold on. If it will let me pull it up, I can. Unless you need to go, but I can. Uh,
What are you looking at?
I'm sharing my screen,
Oh, I
and
see. Okay.
it's gonna take a second. It's gonna have to load because my computer is slow. Um,
Okay.
yeah, it doesn't even show on my screen yet. Okay, do you see where it says George Marshall?
No, I see Billy Bailey has started screen sharing.
Okay, but you
You
can't see
must be
us.
Billy.
That's what it. Yes,
You have another
that's my one of my
life as
many
Billy.
aliases. Yes, is it? But it's still not showing anything yet.
No, no. Once you come
Okay.
home, Billy Bailey.
Yes. No. Yeah. No, that is part of their. Okay, it doesn't matter. Never mind. In any event, I'll
Oh,
send you.
wait.
Oh, did it start to show and then I
Right.
stopped it?
Yes. Yeah, oh, I see. George Marshall lives in Manchester. Okay. All right.
So,
So
but okay, it doesn't matter if I share it. I'll just read what it says because he said, um, okay, so he sent me this picture and I don't, yeah, I feel, yes, I agree. We probably have versions of this picture too. It won't let me scroll down because my computer.
it's actually there are a lot of people yeah. It's this was
A memorable event.
Emma's wedding. Emma, I
Yes,
think your cousin
yes.
Emma.
No, Catherine's wedding. No,
No,
no, you're right.
thinking
Catherine was pregnant at the time. It was Emma's wedding. You're right.
I remember I was sitting next to Alice,
Yes.
who then had maybe she was either studying to be a doctor or she was a doctor. And she turned to me and she said, "Are you Americans still into that fitness business?"
That sounds about right.
Like a
Um,
crazy fad, you know?
I just remember, okay, here's to my credit and my character as a human being. 20 years before the term spoiler alert, everyone wanted to know how Knight Rider ended, and I was like, I can't tell you that. That's unethical. um, Hi, Bob. I think this is a photo of
Yeah.
you and me at your cousin's wedding. My dad is your dad's cousin, I think.
Yes.
Emoji.
Uh,
Yes.
Kevin, I think his dad is Kevin. Well, I'll look it up, but
Yeah.
do you have my heritage? Do you have do you
I'm
have
not.
the,
I'm not on my heritage, but yeah. Oh, I'm losing it. I can't. Okay, I have to stop sharing so I can see you again.
it is, we do keep it up. My
Oh
heritage.
wow. Okay. And who's on it? Who else is on it? Johnny and
Everybody's, you're on it, everybody's on it.
no, I meant who actually participates in the actual updating of it.
Well, Beatrice has done a lot for us, but other people pitch in. I mean,
Huh?
I mean, there are people you've never heard. I mean, we
I
will
know. No, I know. I didn't know I had George
right?
Marshall. Yeah.
And it goes, you know,
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. No, I know. No, I know.
so it's fun. So what about Lainey Randall before we finish? have you finished Laney Randall, or you're
Oh, no,
redoing it?
no, not at all. No, no, I only finished the development. No, tell me about your. I mean, do you want to talk or do you want to go? We've been talking for a while. I can.
I'm not having problems, but I finished the first draft of this book, but I realize I have continuity issues because.
But you always knew that. You started what I realized I needed for Lainey Randall, because it was a series that I wrote over a series of time, a style book or a Bible
What
that
people
TV
are
series,
wearing,
a company. Yeah, no, the basic things,
whether they're
but also.
bald or,
But
yeah.
also, what's their religion? What's their basic belief system? I mean, if you have enough characters, if you build out a world enough. I mean,
Yeah.
if we're talking about world building, like real world. Can I take another break and come back?
Yeah, yeah,
Okay. Yeah.
yeah.
No, okay. So I don't think this this is funny. I don't think this concept is outdated, but I think it would get most play with a Christian publisher. The story has always been about a small girl in Ohio who moves to New York and becomes a first waitress, then she works in a tattoo parlor, then she slowly becomes a detective, but not professionally. She just sort of falls into it. That's the main story arc, and it always has been. Part of the story has always been that she followed her friend to New York, but by the time she got to New York, her friend was already dead. Part of the story has always been she followed her friend to this tattoo parlor, and then as she started to investigate, she found out that her friend was involved in pornography. The plot twist that has always been in there was that her friend was involved in bondage videos, and that the BDSM community is not evil. And I mean, that was the basic plot twist, but it still followed the main arc that other things that I'd represented, including tattoo shops, I guess, and pornography as a greater thing, were evil, because then it went into the mafia, and then the mafia tied the tattoo shop into the pornography and blah, blah, blah. But basically now the plot twist is none of this is evil. Her friend was happy. Her friend was making bondage videos and she was happy. And how she died, whatever, an accident, whatever. But
it had nothing to do with her lifestyle.
it had nothing to do with her lifestyle. I mean, that was the story I always was telling, but I was incrementally like adding like, but that's okay too, but that's okay too, but that, and so yeah, it was never about her lifestyle. People die sometimes, like even young people. Yeah, that's the plot twist. That's the red herring. It was, yeah. So I think this is still a story I can tell. I think this is still a novel I can finish. I have to literally actually physically find it and dust it off, yellowed pages, and
Maybe
rework.
here. Do you think it's in the garage here?
No, I have no idea where it is. No. It is not, because it would have been college. So it would, or post college even. So bits and pieces, no, it's digital. Bits and pieces are on things that are probably lost. It's in my head, and that's fine. I can actually reconstruct it.
Better to do that, let me tell you. It's better.
Yeah, no, and yeah, from scratch, though I do have some old stories in print copies, like yellowed print copies, to give me like the feel for what I was trying to write at the time. But yeah, is this a period piece now? Is this about the 90s and her finding her place in the 90s New York? Is this about now? Because now would be tell more full. Yeah, the 90s would tell the story. 90s is the last time I knew New York. I mean, really, is the last time I could say I like found my way.
I think people would prefer that. I think that people like nostalgia.
It's still, I know, it's still, okay. It's still, thank you,
Doesn't
Dad.
have a cell phone. You don't. Once you give her a cell phone, everything changes.
Yes. Okay. Yes. No, I agree. Yeah. So that's still the story. And then, yeah, no, the other one, though, I mentioned the sci-fi tech, that is contemporary. That is like,
Yeah.
That's
That
Amazon. That's
a
Bill
male
Gates.
or a female protagonist?
It has been considered as a female, but if I'm resurrecting Lainey Randall, I need to consider that, or a non-binary, or I
Yeah,
don't know. But no. So where are you with your story? You're on
I
continuity.
finished, I finished it, but it's very rough. I have to go back, and what I'm doing now is I'm trying to add more. I'm trying to improve the language and more description. There's a lot of I realize there's a lot of good description at the beginning, but then when it gets to action, I do a lot of action. I have a lot of people. Then suddenly everybody's doing different things, and then there's a climax. So I have to keep my protagonist, who's a 17-year-old boy. I have to keep him alive in his head. In other words, how he's feeling and thinking, because I realize I do that quite a lot at the beginning, but then it's just what he's doing. So I've got to go back into his head a little bit, and because I want people to know him. It's although it all happens probably in 12 days, it's a journey. It's a
Yes,
kind of
yes.
metaphor for a journey. And at the end of the book, it's not completed, but there's a there's a beginning, a middle, and an end. But I have to make sure that the people's characters remain consistent.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
I've been watching these very interesting English TV shows, the series, like they're mostly police procedural, but one's called
Yes.
Waking the Dead. Sorry. And when they show them, they always have a trivia box. And if the trivia box, if you click on that, they tell you all of the inconsistencies in the continuity, right?
Yes. Yes.
Did you notice that Dr. So-and-so is wearing a round
Yeah.
necklace? And then,
Yeah. No, IMDb does this too for like every movie. Yeah. No. Yeah. And I
yeah,
and
I
I
like
love
that.
I love when I have noticed it, because I do sometimes, and I love
Yeah,
when I haven't. Like, oh wow,
yeah.
I just suspended my disbelief and I didn't notice that at all. Okay, my advice, if I can offer you editorial advice, I tend to, when I review, edit, not add, because you mentioned like add more, but
Oh,
you taught
yeah.
me
No,
you
no.
taught me minimalism. You taught me what
Yeah, yeah, no.
my
Shave it.
third draft might be adding more, but my second draft is like, what do I need to strip? What is so that is just sort of
Yeah.
general
Yeah,
writing.
I've taken quite a bit out.
Yeah.
I've
Okay.
taken almost everything out, which really, which lent towards the I don't want to say there's a lot of superstition in it, but the what is actually supposedly non-human or magical.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
I pared it down, so it's a it's a little bit like your Lady Round. It's I wonder if this is going to turn out to be how it's whether it's going to turn into something where
Yes.
there's, or could it be real, or could it in other words, whether there's interventions from dark powers, or
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Yes.
that's around it, but it's not. You have to read it to find out, right?
Right. Yes. Yeah. Yes.
It's set in an era where people are
Yes.
superstitious,
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
right?
Yes.
There are prophecies and there are things like that. But
Right.
anyway, but I'll give it to you as soon as I've got it.
Absolutely. Yes. Um, No, and then the part about no, I hear the part about being in his head. I would consider that maybe that's appropriate to the structure, because I feel like when you were describing it, I was thinking of, I mean, sort of how we structure, especially like epics or stories now, like the Marvel or whatever. it starts off, the journey is inside their head, and then it becomes about the big action. And then, yes, you do return to their head, or you figure out a way to weave in the like
Well,
more,
that's what I'm doing. Yeah.
yeah, the
Well,
more interpersonal.
you have to set it up. I mean, people have to know, who is this guy?
You have to set up the heart, or else it's not.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
yeah.
And then he goes and does stuff, and then how does he feel about it, right?
Yes.
Does he get,
Yeah.
does he get the girl? I mean, does he get the
Yeah,
girl?
you're right. No, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
I don't know. Is he gonna
Yeah.
get the girl? Maybe. Because he leaves this girl behind, but is he gonna get the queen? I don't know. And is she a queen? I don't know. Maybe she is. He doesn't even know if she's a girl when she meets her. So you know, it's
Huh? Yes. Yeah. Okay. Yes.
all right. I gotta go, son.
Okay. I love you, Dad. Good.
I love you.
Good.
Keep
So
it
good
up,
talking.
okay? Next week.
Okay.
All right.
Yes. Yes. Definitely. Okay.
And I'll send you the Seattle Art Museum stuff.
Yes. No. Yeah. Definitely. Okay. Talk to you soon. I love you. Bye.
Love you. Bye.
Everyone. Bye.